All right, this was the winner in Lake Placid. Please, warm welcome for Rhiannon Adsit. Did I get it right? Yes. I just want to make sure this is the right time. That looks right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So at some point, we've all heard the saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And if you're trying to get pregnant, suddenly that saying becomes like the mission. It's like the game plan. And my husband and I figured we would probably have to try a lot, because when we made the decision to try to have a family, I was about 39 years old, which isn't old by any means. People have kids at that age all the time. But it also means that by medical standards, I was what is called a geriatric age for pregnancy. And what's really funny about that is my husband and I had to wait a while, because when we got married, I needed not one, but 2 total hip replacements in the first 2 years of our marriage. And I don't know how much you know about getting pregnant, but having 2 functioning hips, it's a game changer. So I guess this whole geriatric label, it wasn't such a stretch after all. So we started trying, and when you tell people you're trying, it's just this really interesting experience, because you're kind of announcing to everyone that you and your partner are doing like this very particular activity, just month after month, like all the time. And people start like cheering for you. They're like, you've got it. Go get them. You're doing great. And we tell our parents like, hey guys, we're trying. And they're like, oh, good, we're thinking of you. And you're like, thanks. And Eric's grandmother is like, oh, are you guys still trying? And we're like, yeah, Grandma, all the time. And she's like, oh, good. And she's like rubbing his back, you know. So, and even things with you and your partner start to change, because everything becomes windows. It is either a fertile window or it is not a fertile window. And when it's a fertile window, I'm like, Eric, it's time. And the song, The Final Countdown, is like playing in my head, like, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. So we were trying, and we just got negative after negative after negative after negative. And after a while, you're like, how does the human race exist? Because getting pregnant, like everything has to align, like Mars has to be in retrograde, and there has to be like a westward wind, and it has to be on a day with a prime number in it, and there's just like all these things. So after enough negatives, we just decided, you know, we're gonna do an infertility appointment just in case, just to see what's going on. And the day before this infertility appointment, we had 1 test left, and we're like, why not? What the heck? One for the road, you know? And it came up positive, and we were like, oh God, oh wow. And we had, you know, all the happy tears and the excitement, and like honestly a moment of, oh no, what did we do? What did we do? And then it just becomes, you know, who are we gonna tell, and when are we gonna tell them, because you want to. And that's where a pregnancy journey gets just really strange, because there's this unspoken rule that you're supposed to wait 12 weeks to tell people in case something happens. I never really questioned that until a few years ago. A friend of mine named Evie, she just changed my mind without meaning to. I had been on Facebook one day, and I hadn't heard from her in years. And this video of Evie had popped up, and she's crying in it. And in the video, Evie said that she had just had her 4th miscarriage. And she talked about this 12-week rule, and she said, you know, I hate this, because all that rule does is it takes care of the other people in your life, their emotions, but it doesn't take care of you when you're going through it. And I was like, whoa. And my brain just did this 180, and I showed Eric, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, yeah, if and when we get pregnant, we're gonna tell people. So we did, and we would say like, hey, we're pregnant, I'm 39, if something happens, we're gonna need some help, and if nothing happens, I'm 39, we're gonna need a lot of help, because I am geriatric after all. So this all happened last spring, last May, and as you can tell, I'm not about to give birth in a couple of weeks here, because we did lose our baby to a miscarriage on June 29th. And we were devastated, we still are. And it took us a bit to be able to even tell our families, and then we decided we're just gonna make a social media post, because while we normally wouldn't do that, it just spared us from having to break this news over and over and over. And we told people what happened, but we also told people what we needed, what help looked like for us. Because our culture has a really hard time with grief, not because they don't want to help, but they're just not sure how to help. And something my dad has always said that's really stuck with me is, help me help you. So I thought about that, and I decided to make a guide, and it basically said, don't avoid us. Invite us to things. Bring it up. Hug us. Be okay if we cry. Share good news and bad news with us. If you have babies, you can be around us. We can excuse ourselves if we need to. Just keep treating us like people. And the response we got from people was so overwhelming. It was so beautiful. But what was really unexpected is we started getting all of these stories of people who had gone through miscarriages. It was everywhere, and it seemed like everyone we talked to had either gone through it or they knew someone intimately who had gone through it. And what was so interesting was all of it just validated storytelling for me, because Evie shared this story that carved a space so Eric and I could get the help we needed right away. And our sharing a story allowed other people to share their stories with us that not only held us in our pain and supported us, but it also gave them a space to share, because some of our friends who were older had never really told anyone, and they just carried this pain with them for decades, which I can't even imagine. So if our pregnancy journey, if this is all that comes out of it, then so be it. That's something. That still matters. But we do hope someday to have a family, so we've kept trying, and we keep getting negatives. Just yesterday, we found out we're not pregnant again. But what that means is we keep working with our incredible medical team, who we're so thankful for. We keep leaning into our families and our friends who have lifted us, that we're so thankful for. You know what else it means? We get to try again. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Thank you.